Semiconductor 4, and this is our final project. It's about how TSMC leads semiconductor innovation with open innovation platform. So this is our agenda. First, I will start with the critical industry challenge and the OIP overview. For decades, the semiconductor industry has shifted structurally. For example, like the move away from vertically integrated IDM model to a fabless foundry model. Also, the major gap between ADA development and design cycle. And there also have the dramatic increase of SoC complexity. This entire obstacles make the process more efficient and risky. So this bottleneck extremely provide some painful outcome for the industry. For example, like the decline in design starts, shrinking the market share, also up to 50% design failure rate, which causes a lot of time waste and resource waste. And as we can see, the ASIC design cost soaring to up to $10 million reflects the extreme expense. And finally, the rise of FPGA has compressing the market share of traditional ASIC models. Therefore, TSMC realized that the true innovation implement is about internal innovation energy plus cross-sector collaboration. That is why TSMC developed the Open Innovation Platform. So what is OIP? OIP is a comprehensive ecosystem connect TSMC with EDA providers, IP developers, cloud partners to support the customer. As building a complete ecosystem around TSMC, they devote to reduce design risk, shorten time to market, also lock in a standardized TSMC-centric platform. And the goal of OIP is that they want to achieve industrial co-prosperity by building a shared value ecosystem and passing process knowledge to upstream. This can help them shorten the time to market and reducing the supply chain inefficiency. So what is OIP provide is that first, accuracy, reducing the design errors and boost silicon success. The second one is accessibility, which help the designer easily retrieve all required resource. The third one is availability, which provide cloud-based design tools and global support from the vendors. And those three pillars help to align the design and manufacturing process. Now, the second part will take over by Brent.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to explain about the core components of OIP. So TSMC describes OIP as a set of alliances and supporting content that all work together. First, we have the EDA Alliance. This group includes companies that provide chip design tools for placing logic, routing wires, checking timing. They adjust and test their tools using TSMC process data, so customers can run approved design flows instead of experimenting on their own. Then we have the IP Alliance. These partners supply ready-made circuit blocks like standard cells, memory macros, input-output interfaces, and high-speed link. Third, we have the Design Center Alliance. If a customer lacks experience or manpower, a DCI partner can help with parts of the design or the whole project, while staying inside of the OIP ecosystem. Then we have the Value Chain Alliance. So this group help with later stages such as test, packaging planning, and production run-up. Then we have the Cloud Alliance. Cloud partners host pre-configured design environments where the product design keys, tools, and flows from OIP are already installed and tuned. And finally, we have the 3D Fabric Alliance. This part of OIP focuses on multi-die and 3D design using TSMC advanced packaging technologies. Then we have the achievements of the OIP. First, we have that OIP accelerated design and time to market. OIP drastically shortened the path from concept to production, as well as reduced design cycle times. Then we have the cost reduction and efficiency. OIPs minimize financial risks by democratizing access to premium resources, allowing smaller firms to compete with giants. Then OIP enhanced collaboration and ecosystem synergy. OIP fosters seamless communication, turning competition into co-creation. And finally, industry-wide innovation and scalability. OIP propelled the sector forward by supporting emerging tech like 2 nanometer nodes, UCIe standards, as well as nurture innovation in automotive, 5G, and Edge AI with other sectors.
Okay, so let's look at the timeline here. The first phase is from 2008 to 2016, and back in 2008, TSMC officially launched the Open Innovation Platform, and basically they are integrating EDA, IP, and design service partners. Then from 2010 to 2013, TSMC started holding annual OIP ecosystem forum. These were huge industry events where all the partners got together to share ideas and collaborate. So it became a key event in semiconductor industry. And then from 2014 to 2016, OIP got really matured. We start supporting advanced chip at 20 nanometer, 16 nanometer, and even 10 nanometers. Okay, so let's jump to the second phase. In 2018, TSMC did something really game-changing. They launched the OIP Cloud Alliance with Microsoft and AWS to enable cloud-based IC design. From 2020 to 2022, the platform expanded again to support 5 nanometers and 3 nanometer chips. And TSMC set up the OIP 3D Fabric Alliance to handle the new 3D packaging technology. Then from 2023 to nowadays, the focus is on AI and automation. TSMC integrate AI assist design tool into OIPs, and they are working on connecting design data and manufacturing data in real time. So information flows back and forth from the factory to the designers.
So one of the unique and key activity within OIP is OIP Ecosystem Forum. So what is this? This is an annual event that held once a year, and it will bring all critical players within semiconductor industry together to exchange ideas. And it is conducted both online and offline, but for the in-person event, it will have more interactive activity, especially that they will have opportunity to discuss in depth. And why it is important? That is because it will showcase TSMC latest advancement in the semiconductor technology, and also it will share updates on OIP and promote collaborative innovation among stakeholders to accelerate the development of next generation too. So this forum is not just an event, it is a dynamic hub where all leaders in the semiconductor industry to come to exchange ideas, strengthen partnership, and also ignite the next wave of innovation. So let's take a look. For this forum, the in-person forum, they will have 4 main activities. As you can look at this slide, they will have industry presentation and keynote, and also partners exhibition during each break time. And they also have technical section and workshop, and at the end they will have collaborative discussion and networking. And this year, The OIP ecosystem forum will be organized in 5 different countries, including Taiwan, America, New Zealand, and Europe, Japan, and China.
Okay, so currently what makes TSMC such a giant right now is because the name of the game in the chip making industry is consistency. It doesn't matter what tech you have, as long as your product can deliver what it promised, then it's a good product. Now, in the chip making industry, we all know that the tech is rising. With tech rising comes design costs. Right now, the tech is around 2 nanometers, 3 nanometers, way less or way more specialized than 10 nanometers. Which means if TSMC screws up this one time, it's game over for them. That is why OIP is such an important tool. As prefaced by Abby, what it does, it builds an environment. Everyone must use this collaboration. And then it makes rules. What kind of rules? TSMC rules. So therefore, our paper argues the fact that TSMC is not doing this OIP out of its goodwill. And it's not only out of its survival, but it is to maintain its dominance in the entire supply chain management. There is only the TSMC supply chain management and others. This is a typical platform economics expansion move. Now that is our presentation and we are happy to take questions.
OIP is to boost innovation.
Of course.
What kind of innovation does TSMC do? Most people know about they're doing manufacturing, but what kind of innovation and why does it need to involve so many companies for like 2 more decades of these kind of foreign thing?
Now, this is innovation, and it says here that their main goals is to pass knowledge and to initiate co-prosperity. So that's why it aims to grab all the firms that it could possibly have. Now, innovation stems from the fact that, as I said before, if TSMC screws up, then it's game over then. If any firm screws up, it's also the same exact ending. So what these guys do is they use OIP, their innovation platform, to exclusively safe check their entire processes. They exchange ideas through extremely encrypted methods. So no IP will be lost or be copied by other firms. But at the same time, they could cross-check their processes from, let's say, fabless designs to the factories to the export products that they do. So to answer what stipulates innovation is that constant safe checking and the governance of intellectual property protection is the main goal of OIP. Now, that is why I pointed in this presentation as the Amazon Web Services of chip making. And why it constitutes maybe a decade domination is because TSMC's legitimacy as a foundry and its currently strictly enforced governance that I just mentioned on IP protection.
So what you're saying is that TSMC kind of construct the platform, but they don't have access to the knowledge?
In simpler terms, the OIP platform operates in a need-to-know basis. So if, let's say that we each represent a firm,
Okay.
and I have to pass my knowledge for Lynn in order for her to produce chips to Brandon. Now, Abby doesn't need to know, so she doesn't accept any blueprints that I deliver to Lynn. But if something goes wrong, if a debugging process is needed, then Brandon, Lynn, and I will both be notified by the OIP platform. So basically, the OIP platform is like an interface for all the upstream, downstream, and TSMC companies in order to coordinate each other on how the supply chain works and how bugs are need to be debugged.
So it's more like a supply chain collaboration.
Of course, this is why in our conclusion, we specifically point that it is TSMC is using this as a platform economics expansion. They are trying to utilize a platform in order to bolster its current dominance in the chip making industry.
I have a question.
Of course.
Just as you know, TSMC is a manufacturing company, so all the information you need from the other suppliers, you probably will have like a secret leaking problem. Yeah.
Of course, that's how what I just explained to a professor is that every process is a new basis. And of course, the technology is not available to the public, but they deliver this information through secret black boxes.
Because as you mentioned, it's a platform. So
It is.
as my analogy is like the platform is same like Qualcomm, they also create the same platform for the platform they can use for IoT. Something will be the singular one. So how you can call the TSMC called innovation?
First of all, innovation stems from the fact that it not only emphasizes on innovating product per se, but this is why our paper concludes it as dominance and supply chain management. The name is not the issue here, it's what TSMC does with this particular tool. Secondly, I'm not sure about core comps, I'm not an expert on that, you probably know much more than I am, but one major configuration that stands out for OIP is that it is, although it says it's an open and rated platform, it is strictly closed access, which means that, again, if you don't need to know, you won't know.
Okay. Sorry. So you need to leave that question to the evaluation form. We only have like 10 minutes. Sorry. So, thank you. Leave that question to the comments and then they can answer.